today we're going to talk about the cool attributes of Darius, this figure right here, and how to use them to make all kinds of cool customs and some great ways to do it. And while we're at it, we're going to actually remake my custom
Going to the Amazon
hold on a sec.
such an experience. It was so hyped.
Our custom King Randor battle figure. So let me go ahead and get started with this. So if you're on here, go ahead and sound off. And I know it's a pretty quick turnaround video, so a lot of you guys won't be joining me live, and that's okay. I'll probably make a secondary version of this where I download it and actually edit it and make it much shorter, because I know it's going to be a little bit long flow video. All right, so here we have Darius. Darius was originally a figure that was going to be released in the 90s, but then they decided to not release him for one reason or another, basically because they stopped making new adventures. So a lot of us saw the prototype and were like, oh, this Darius figure would be cool if they actually made him. And then when Classics came out, they actually made Darius. So that's kind of cool and kind of fun. So first of all, let me talk about some figures I've already used Darius for. Now, one feature I like about Darius is his helmet is removable, and that is huge. Another people like the fact that his face kind of looks like Fisto. So a lot of Fisto customs, when people can afford to get Fisto because they didn't make enough and the prices skyrocketed, they ended up using Darius's head. And I sold quite a few Darius heads to people when I had leftover custom heads. So one thing I wanted to use Darius's head for was actually for my New Adventures He-Man. Because when you got New Adventures He-Man, he actually came with a head that had the helmet attached already and was non-removable. And it's like, well, that stinks, because the original toy, which is right here, actually had a removable helmet. So I wanted to reproduce that, and so I actually used Darius's helmet. You can see the inside has been sanded out, but not painted on the inside, so don't get it in his hair. And I sanded extra special more in the front to make up for his weird bangs that pop way out of the front, so that I can actually stick this helmet on his head, which now he has a removable helmet. And it's like, okay, that worked out really good. And I kind of like the way I could now have a removable helmet for my New Adventures He-Man. So I decided to take that one step further, and I did the same thing with his son, Hero, but he has silver armor, and so I did the exact same thing. Now, he didn't come with a helmeted head to begin with, but you can see I kind of made him a New Adventures version. I gave him some gold boots and everything else, and gave him the gold armlets. Now, these are actually from Bo, not from New Adventures He-Man, so the coloring is different. I wanted something different besides the exact same color as He-Man to kind of make it, you know, kind of cool. His is red, his is kind of a brownish purple. And then the boots the same way too. These are actually Bo's boots, not He-Man's boots. So you can kind of see the difference. These are two-toned, and the He-Man's boots are just one color. So again, I sanded out the inside of the helmet, made a lot of extra room for his bangs. His bangs stick out even more than He-Man's, and then made a removable helmet for him as well. So that's a great way to use your Darius, is for the helmets. All right, so now if you just use all the helmets everywhere else, you have all these bald Darius with no helmets, so we have to use other parts of his body for other things. So the next thing I like about using this Darius is actually his loincloth here. Now, his loincloth is blue and gold, and it matches the styling and motif of this blue armor right here, which came with Hero. And so you can kind of see how well that matches for the styling of it. And so what I used to do was I would take a figure like a Nephew here, and I would put this armor on Nephew and that loincloth on Nephew, and swap out the head and put a 2000X head on him, and then give him the Smash Blade weapons, Smash Blade, and basically make a Splash Blade He-Man, Smash Blade He-Man, by basically creating the blue armored character by using his shorts, because it has the He-Man symbol on it anyway, for New Adventures, And it just matches. I mean, the blue works really good, and then the gold, of course, ties in with the armor too. So it's a great way to make your Smash Blade He-Man. So that's a. I don't have one right now to show you. I actually made two and sold both of them, so I don't have that. So then we got the body left over. Now, unfortunately, the body that when I use this, I actually end up still using the same shorts, and that's this body right here. Is I go to make my King Randor custom. And to make my King Randor custom, it's pretty easy. Basically, I take King Randor's armor and throw it on him, and then King Randor's head and put it on him. And you can see it makes a pretty cool 2000X looking armored up King Randor. And then I use Bo's boots because it has the two-tone. But the problem is there's still some brass looking parts on his right here on his arm right here and on his shoulder. So those you have to paint gold. Now the last time I painted this gold, unfortunately, it got all sticky and stayed sticky. So I had to just clean it off the other day. In fact, you know what? I'm going to grab the alcohol. There's still a spot on the back of his elbow that still has some of that gold paint on there. And then we're going to repaint it with some better gold paint right here, which I actually learned about from one of my favorite customizers. I can't remember his name right now. Holy cow. Hopefully I remember his name, and I'll tell you guys in a minute. I'm going to grab my alcohol and some cleaning supplies, and we will clean off the rest of that gold. And then you will start to paint it. Alright, I am back. For those that just joined, we're going to paint some gold on this figure to make him into a custom King Randor. Let's see who's online right now. Taylor Riley, thanks for joining us. Commander Ed, thanks for being here. Dorky Hippie, thanks for being here. Gnomesky, thanks for being here. All right. Nope, not Joe, not Matt. Hunter Knight Customs. Now I remember who it was. Yep, Hunter Knight Customs uses the same kind of gold on his stuff, and it comes out looking really good. And I've used it a few times, and I like how it comes out. It's really strange because it's kind of dry when you put it on. It's not very wet at all. So it is really bizarre how it goes on, which means when you're done, you're going to have to clear coat it to keep it on there. Now, it's weird as this gold comes off as black. And like I said, this gold never dried. It just stayed kind of gooey. And where it touched this cape later on, it just totally destroyed the cape in those areas. I was able to clean it off with this alcohol. Now, I use 99% alcohol. 99. And that seems to do the trick with most cleanings that I have to do. So that's why I like to use that one. Yeah, Hunter Knight Customs does some amazing stuff. I always enjoy his customs. I look at them, and first thing I say to myself, I could do that. And then I look again, it's like, no, actually I can't do that. His stuff is way better than mine. Yeah, I like it too because he doesn't seem to be, it sounds bad, but full of himself. He seems to be a very humble guy. And to be that humble still, but yet make awesome customs, that's a pretty cool trait in itself. Yes, he is more humble than I am. I strive to be that way, but unfortunately I still groove on my stuff way too much. My wife tells me all the time, you shouldn't groove on your stuff so much. All right. Let's make sure just all these are clean before I start painting on it. Now I could use acetone, but acetone sometimes will actually ruin the plastic. So be very careful. And we don't want to ruin any plastic. Now I'm just going to do a dry wipe on it to make sure there's no residue left on it, so the paint will adhere really well. All right. There we go. Dun, da, da, da. I'm looking at your guys' comments. Hey, Mike V, thanks for joining us. Andrew, thanks for being here. Yeah, I don't know why you're not getting notifications. It's really strange. Yeah, don't sell yourself short. You are the reason Ham Man exists. That's funny. Oh, cool. The Classics King Randor today on eBay. Hopefully you get them. That'd be nice. All right, let me grab one of my trays so I don't get paint on my cloth here. And I was able to clean off the gold on here. It had a whole bunch of gold on both sides where his shoulders touched this soft rubber, which was just really a mess. So, all right. So, way do you see how this paint works? It's really strange. Like I was saying, it's kind of like a jelly instead of just standard paint. You can kind of see how it just kind of looks when I've already used it. I've actually used a lot, but it's not much of this. It seems to, you know, it doesn't take much at all. So let me get some on the paintbrush here. And it's really strange. It's like it's already dried. And at first I thought it was a mistake, but then I was watching Hunter Knight's videos, and sure enough, that's how it is on his too. And so you just paint this on there with this weird, dry, gloopy gold. We'll see if it adheres to it or not. Now it almost feels like it's not even painting on there, but if you take a look at the difference between this shoulder and the arm lower, you can see is actually a huge difference between them. And again, it's really weird. It's like I said, it's like a jelly roll. So you're almost dry brushing the whole time as opposed to painting. I've never actually done a large surface like this. Usually I do like little parts of Tila touch up or something else like that. So this is just a little bit different than what I'm used to doing with this paint. All right, so what do you guys think? Does that look different? Yep, it does look different. And it's so weird too. I mean, look how the consistency of this stuff is. It's just this weird kind of jelly kind of stuff. If I first saw this and didn't know what it's supposed to look like, I would think it was dried out. I'd say, what? Someone sent me some bogus paint. It's already all dried out. But that's the way it is. That's just the way it is. All right. So that does not seem to be covering as well as I was hoping. I may have to pull out some other paint first to put a first coat on here because it's just kind of slipping off because this stuff's so smooth already. We'll see. We'll try to put a couple coats on here and just see what happens. It's just so weird to paint with this. It's like really sticky, goopy. Yeah, I may have to actually change the kind of gold I'm using. I do like how this comes out normally, but since the other gold's so yellow, I may have to go with my royal gold that I have in the other room. And the royal gold has more of a yellow tint to it, because this one just looks too gold. Sorry, you guys. I should aim that camera a little differently so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'll look at your comments in a minute. That music playing, Jeopardy or something. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now I know it's strange that it happens so slowly. We can see the difference of this one being gold and that one being bronze. If you can see the difference in that or not. Gold, bronze. I'm gonna take a look at your guys' comments while this sit for a minute. I might just still leave it that gold even if it doesn't match, because it does kind of match his boots down below. So it might actually fit in pretty well. Let's see, Gnomsky is saying, I hate yellow gold. If you look at it, the new King Viking He-Man's armor is yellow gold. Yep. Almost looks like Iron Man and Turbo Man combined. Turbo Man! Hey Todd, awesome swords. I got them the other day. Thanks, Hebro. Hey, no problem, Mike. Glad you got them. Glad you like them. Let's see, Dorky Hippie 81 says, what are your favorite capes to use? Thinking about one for Viking He-Man base custom. So my favorite cape to use for He-Man is actually the one from Chief Carnivorous, I think his name is. Something like that. He has that red cape and it works really good for He-Man. And at first I wasn't going to use that cape originally, but then in one of the comics, He-Man has a red cape that they released for classics, and I really liked the way that cape looked in the comics, and it was very similar to the Chief Carnivorous one. So yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even know about this gold dried paint ever. I always used this horrible paint pens that always would stay sticky forever. But this is just a really weird the way it's put on. And it's funny, you can feel your brush too when you do it. Your brush just drags and sticks when you're putting it on. It's really strange. I'll do the other arm in a minute. Get inside without ruining his shoulder. Yeah, the first time I used this, I was, like I said, I thought the bottle was dried already. What the heck did Amazon send me? This dried bottle of gold paint. And actually, I think the first one I bought actually was more of a gold yellow. I probably should have grabbed that bottle so it matched. But actually, I kind of like this. Like I said, it matches his boots. So I think it's going to work. It looks better than that copper, that's for sure. All right, I think this arm is done. Look at that. That looks pretty cool, and it goes on so smooth. Like I told you, that Hunter Knight knows what he's doing. He's got some great customs. All right, on to the other side. Look at you guys' comments. Hey, Kel Naris, thanks for the buck. I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Just got a vintage Cyclone. Got to repair the legs. Got them for $5 on eBay. Nice, Andrew. All right, let's go ahead and do this side too. Like I said, look at this paint. It's so bizarre. It's like I was saying, it's like dried jelly stuff. It's really weird for those that just joined. And it just goes on all kind of flaky onto the brush. This is what I was going to paint Shiro with to make her stuff more gold. And it's so weird, it takes almost none at all. In fact, if you look at my bottle, I've used this for quite a few figures already. And I still got a ton left in this little dinky bottle. Just goes on so light. All right, let's start doing the back of his arm. Then we'll go back and do a second coat in a few minutes. So I wish it was more of a Zoom call so you guys could actually talk instead of just me having to read your text. And you could holler too, hey, you missed the spot. I should start doing that. I should have special Zoom calls for the members. That'd be cool. I think I have 3 members now, so we're slowly building up our membership. But I think that's going to be in the future. Once I get a few more members, I'll start doing special Zoom sessions just for the members. And that'll be fun because then you guys could talk. We'll record the Zoom calls so everyone else could see it on YouTube later on. So if you're game for that, for those members, in the near future, we'll do that. And then you guys can all be, if you have cameras, even better. Then I can have your guys' faces on there too. So Mike and Jinxie, and I forget who the third person was. I knew who it was a few minutes ago. Anyway, just some future ideas that I have. I know this is pretty slow, monotonous. What'd you do with your Saturday? I watched some guy on the internet put some gold gel all over his action figure's arm. That sounds like fun. It's just so weird how it paints on. It's not like paint at all. It's really bizarre. It's like you're just dry brushing the whole time. And a lot of times I do like to dry brush when I paint parts. You've probably seen that in some other videos where I almost take off the majority of the paint and just barely let the brush dry brush it on. So I'm kind of already used to doing dry brush. All right. I'm gonna let this sit for a minute while I look at your guys' comments. Then I'll come back and do a second coat on it. Let me get this spot right here before I... All right, let's let that sit for a moment. Let's look at your guys' comments. What's the project? The project is going to be King Randor. King Randor! Like a 2000X version of him, basically. And so I'm using Darius for our base figure. And being he already has a lot of King Randor parts, I already swapped out the boots and gave him Bo's boots. And I already created a shield for him. It's on my Shapeways store. There it is. And I printed it in yellow and then painted it with gold. Now this gold paint is not the same as that gold paint. I painted this a long time ago, so it may not match exactly. Oh, I'm knocking everybody over. Darius, man, fix your foot. And then I've already put clear heat shrink tubing on his sword and on his staff right here. That way then his bigger hands can hold it. Because the original King Randor came with small hands like the standard He-Man bucks we got originally. But this Darius figure, he's got the big honking hands. So for him, we have to actually increase the size of the handles and stuff so we can hold the weapons. All right. So let's go ahead and do that second coat. Let's see if Weird Fantastic Toy Adventure just recorded a video and I have to edit it. Yeah, editing's no fun. That's why I keep doing live videos. How do I become a member? If you go to my main page on YouTube, there should be a spot on there to become a member. And then you can sign up. And I believe it's just right there. After you click my name, Hebro, you should be able to select to become a member. Yep, members get special perks. One is, of course, what I just talked about, the new Zoom calls that I'll be doing eventually. And another one is so you get discounts on some of the things I'm selling. So like Mike and Jinxie all got pretty good discounts on those orb stands and some of the swords. So that's one of the perks. Is we give discounts for some of the new items when they first come out. Now the newest member hasn't had a chance to receive any of those cool deals yet, but I'm working on some Doom Seekers, and that will be the first chance he gets to get a discount on the Doom Seekers if he chooses to buy them. The Hebrew member discount. All right, sorry for the slow, boring video of watching paint dry. I think that's looking pretty good. So I think now it's time to go clear coat this. So let me go ahead and close this lid. And the tricky part about clear coating is you want to mask everything you don't want to clear coat. So I got my masking tape here, and we will just go to town with masking this guy. So first off, let's get some smaller pieces here, and then I will clear coat him with my Krylon. You guys have seen me use it before. I'm going to use the non-gloss one, so I'll be using the flat one, or matte, I guess they call it. The matte. Now, if I really wanted to do this right, I'd probably take and pull off his forearms because I didn't paint those. But I'm just going to tape over them. I don't feel like pulling the pins out today and going through all that mess. So today we're just going to tape everything. Now, any parts you don't tape very well, sometimes the clear coat will cause it to become sticky. So you have to be careful about that. Ah, I had that jammed in there just right too. No. It's hard to do this on camera. It's so much easier when you're just sitting in your computer chair, taping everything. Which is usually where I do it at, is sitting in my computer chair just taping it. Alright, that's not too bad. Not perfect, but this is matte paint, won't be too big of a deal. It's not as bad as the gloss paint. If you use gloss paint and try to spray it, it gets a huge mess everywhere. Oh, Andrew said he bought some of your swords on eBay. Did you already get them in the mail yet, or are they still coming to you? There we go. All these curved spots. Ah, good enough. Good enough. And the rest of his body I'll cover with baggies. I'll go downstairs and grab some plastic wrap and just coat his body with the bottom half of his body with plastic wrap. That seems to work pretty good. Oh, nice, Andrew. Yep, I have some printing downstairs right now. Some new swords. I'm hoping to get them on eBay in the next couple days. I'm hoping to kind of have them as kind of a standard thing that I can have on there most of the time. I keep selling out of them pretty quick, which is a nice thing to have wrong with your product. Like, people buy so many they sell out. But I'm hoping to keep some in stock so that when people want them, I'll have them available. See, now as you watch some guy on the internet paint slowly, now you're going to watch him mask something slowly too. It's just not ripping the way I want it to. Let's try this. That will be good enough. Good enough. You guys are like, holy cow. How does this guy mask his parts? It's just crazy. So I'm just painting clear. The mask doesn't have to be perfect. Some overspray across the other parts is actually good to help keep the paint down. So that's why I'm not really too concerned about doing a perfect masking job on this. It's just to protect most of it, not all of it. Should have grabbed my scissors. Scissors. We don't need no stinking scissors. Fit in there. All right, so I can get the spray paint inside there. Yep. I get it on this side. Yep. All right. And like I said, the rest I'll just put a bag over him. All right. Anyway, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a couple minutes after spray painting it, and we'll see how cool it looks. And then we will pull off the masking. So I'll be right back. If you want, I will line the camera up on the type of paint that I use so you guys can see what it is. Just want to write that down. And I will be back in a moment. Alright, you guys. I am back. People just joined. Sorry for the tardiness. I was off painting a part. Here's the paints that I used. I first used the Krylon matte finish and then did a really light gloss coat afterwards. And so now let's go ahead and pull off the masking. Boop. Now this paint does dry really quick. It has a 15-minute dry time, but if you use a fan and a heat gun, it dries a whole lot faster. I didn't use a heat gun or fan yet because I have the tape residue would be all over it. I'll probably run in the other room and do that when I grab my hot water. See, that's probably live videos. You guys are stuck waiting while I go run in the other room and do stuff. Now you'll notice the paint looks darker now that it has the clear coat on it. That's pretty common because the clear coat gives it kind of that wet look. So it does make it come out a little darker. I think it looks a lot better once you put that clear coat on there. There we go. Let me go ahead and get this tape all out of the way. And I'm going to go finish this drawing really quick with a heat gun and a fan, and I'll be right back. You guys can stare at the cans of paint that I use so you can write them down if you want. All right, there we go. Let's take a look at your guys' comments. Let's see. Dean Rock says, Tidy, don't mind. Thanks, I appreciate that. Favorite origins? Not an easy question to answer. That is a tough one. Nothing else much to do on a Saturday, but watch paint dry. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and stick on his armor. Now I'm going to push his arms forward because I don't want to accidentally rub the paint on his on the back there yet. Usually like to wait 24 hours before I stick the parts together, but what the heck. We'll go ahead and do this now. Now this armor and cape are from the original King Randor. There we go. Now for his head. Ugh. There we go. I probably should have heated it up first. That's looking mighty regal. Mighty regal. And now for his shield. Dun dun dun. And his sword. And I'll put his sword in the same hand as his shield. Then I'll put his staff in this hand. There we go. So, He originally came from this figure, and you can see the color difference now in his shoulders and pieces that I painted today. Way cooler looking with the gold. And let me go grab the original King Randor so you guys can see the difference between this one and the original release. Hold on a sec while I go grab it. Am I keeping this custom? I am. Sorry, you guys. Not for sale. All right. Nope. No King Randor there. Ah, there he is. There he is. Mr. America. Thought I had the Filmation one too, but I guess I didn't put him in there with the rest. You guys are probably going, what is he mumbling about now? All right, so here is the original King Randor. I could have sworn his shorts were blue. That's funny. Da-da-da. So there's the original. Now, I did make another King Randor. Oops, I'm dropping his staff. This was my other custom I made a long time ago. And basically, I just gave him a hero's boots. And I called him Kickin' King Randor. Gave him the armor boots on him. Which I almost used these same boots on this one. But I think the New Adventure boots work better. So, those are my custom King Randors. The middle one is the way he came, and then of course the one I just made, and then the one where I just swapped out the boots. And there they are. Orange legs, yes. Yes, Burger King has orange legs. Yep. So if you guys want, I do have the shield for sale on my Shapeways. If you decide you want to get the shield, it's like the 2000X shield. It is a really cool shield. I had two versions on there. One where this is centered and one where it's offset. The offset one works better. I might have got rid of the centered one and just kept the offset one. But basically just paint it gold and paint the center part with a blue-silver mix. And it matches kind of close to the other blues on there then. And there you go. And you got yourself a 2000X looking King Randor. Armored and ready for battle. Hey, thanks, Kill. I appreciate you saying it's a huge improvement. All right, well, that's all that I have for today, you guys, right now. And I have more videos today, but for this one right now. And remember, there's a lot of things you can do with Darius. Like I was mentioning before, the helmets. Here's another Darius helmet conversion. Is originally our New Adventures He-Man was this little wimpy guy with a helmet removal, right? That we got. And then later on, they gave us Thunder Punch New Adventures He-Man. So I decided to take the Thunder Punch New Adventures He-Man. I gave him She-Ra's sword from the New Adventures She-Ra that they made and just painted it more gold to match. And then I gave him Darius's helmet. I didn't have to sand out the inside because it was pretty loose, just painted it gold. And bada bing, bada boom. And then I even have an armor that can go over the top of his armor. And that way he could have the full armor on too. This is how they should have released him originally back in the 90s. I mean, that'd been a way cool figure than this little guy. Look at the difference. So I kind of wish they would have done that originally with New Adventures He-Man. You probably would have sold a lot more if they would have given us something like this with removable armor than to give us this little guy. And see, if you took his armor off, right? Thinking, okay, let's see how cool He-Man is. Let's take off his armor. And underneath this armor is this strap that is stuck on there and molded. So you're always wearing something. But he did have a cool action feature. He'd raise his shield, swing his sword, shield, sword, so you can battle. You'll stick your thumb and put it in the back to battle him. So that was a cool feature. I don't ever put his sword in his hand, though, because it's so tight. I don't want it to snap. I've seen a lot of these swords snapped online. So anyway, let me stick his armor back on. And his helmet, which was a cool idea to make a removable helmet. Mattel, that was cool. But the little skinny, scrawny He-Man, not cool. But I am glad they made the Thunder Punch one, because that is how they should have always... I mean, I don't mind the other new adventure figures being small and scrawny. That's fine, but the He-Man one should have always been big and beefy like this. Classic Custom Prince Keldor. Custom Classic Prince Keldor. I did make a Customs Classic Prince Keldor, kind of. I don't know if you've seen him or not. Let me go and pull him out there, Taylor Riley. Since we're in overtime right now, I might as well bore you guys with yet another cool custom figure. Let's see. Let me get my Skeletor box out. Yeah, I don't really have my figures arranged nicely on shelves like most people do. What I have is giant boxes of plastic boxes that are stored on shelves. So here they are. And this is my Skeletor box. All my custom Skeletors. Now I'm knocking things around. And here is my Caucasian Keldor. There he is. Dun dun dun. Oop. So there he is. And I made him from a Demos figure. I used Demos's head. And then I just... There's a 5.5-inch figure that came out in the 80s. Oh, I'm knocking his head back on there. Come on. It's too cold in this room to get this head off. There we go. Almost. There we go. And I made this part right here, which is a converting part that I created out of a bunch of O-rings and heat shrink tubing. And then I carved out his head, sanded it around, and it just slides on the top of there. Just like that. That way I could use the head from the 80s. Demos. And there is my... Now, I pretend like he also gets a bird. So here is his bird. Because I don't know why. It just looks cool to have him with a bird. I just have always liked that kind of look for him. So, there we go. And if you want, these stands are also available in my Shapeways. If you decide you want to get a nice tall stand for your birds. And the way to get to my Shapeways is to go to he-bro.com. he-bro.com. And you can click the Shapeways link and you can buy stuff there. All right, so I think I'm going to call this. If there's any more questions, let me check out your guys' questions. Hey, thanks, Leo Rocks? Leox Rocks? I'm not sure I pronounced your name, man. With all that skin tone, he looks naked. Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about the story of Keldor. I know 2000X gave us the story of Keldor as a blue guy that turned into Skeletor, you know, and that's kind of what they did. But I believe if they would have made him in the 80s, he would have been Caucasian color. And there's two thoughts I have on this. One is that as he used magic the magic slowly transformed him blue. Or the other thought is that because he's like living dead, like a zombie, that his skin is blue because it's not getting the oxygen to it. So when he changed to Skeletor, that his skin turned blue during the transformation. So depending on how you look at it, I think it just looks way better being that he was the same color as his brother Randor and not the blue Gar. And then he turned blue from turning into a living dead kind of creature. Yeah, that's funny, Lewis. Love all the boxes of awesomeness you just showed us. Yeah, it's funny. My wife actually helped me organize all the boxes. So I have one for Skeletor, one for all my custom He-Mans, one for all the pre-Eternia stuff, one for Snake Man, one for the Horde. I got a box for each major faction like that. So that's how I store all my stuff. All right, so that's all I got for you guys today. I just wanted to fix my King Randor and stick them back in my... I have a box for my essentials too. That's the figures I mostly use. And he's going back in the essential box because that's where I had this one. Because this is the King Randor I usually use when I pull out King Randor. I don't use the regular one. I mean, come on. If he's going to fight... I mean, they did give him some armor. But being he doesn't have He-Man's powers, having a full body armor makes a lot more sense than just armor and a cape. So, there you go. Either armor him up or don't armor him up. Yes, Dean Rock. According to 2000X, Keldor was Gar. Like I said, I reject that reality, and I like to lean on the storyline of Search for Keldor from the 80s. And in that one, we never see Keldor in the comic, but there's no mention of him being Gar. That was something they added later on in 2000X. So that's why I like the Caucasian Keldor being he's supposed to be Randor's brother. Yep, there's a really cool storyline people come up with, and that is that Keldor is actually Eldor, which is the one who taught Hero. So the cool idea is that when Keldor was lost to time and they're looking for him, he actually ended up becoming Eldor, and he was actually the beginning of the Grayskull line that eventually created He-Man. And then as time went on, as he became more powerful and later on became Skeletor, the Living Dead, then he ended up rising up against He-Man, which was the same power he literally helped create in the beginning as Eldor. So, I know, kind of a crazy storyline. But being that the name Eldor is so close to Keldor, that's why I kind of thought that kind of made sense. Yep, it's a fun fact that Keldor and Skyclone were the same species if you go with the 2000X story. All right, so let's go ahead and end it there. Thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. Maybe another one tonight. But Eldor is a nickname that Hero gives them. Oh, is it? Oh, interesting, Lewis. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, good journey, you guys.